If people continue to protest Planned Parenthood in an attempt to get it shut down, we face a future with children pouring out of adoption centers and a world infected by STDs. It's important to understand how beneficial Planned Parenthood is not only for the community, but for the health and safety of the globe. Every time I've gone into Planned Parenthood, I personally have been treated with nothing but respect and kindness, and they went through a lot to make sure that my privacy was respected, even though it made their job much more difficult. And Planned Parenthood is very beneficial to the community in numerous ways, including the fact that they provide several tests free of charge. That ranges from pregnancy tests to all kinds of STD tests. They even provide cancer screenings, and if you do get diagnosed with some form of cancer, then they walk you through the recovery process, and they help make sure that you get the medicine that you need. And they also ensure that everyone has access to their resources by working with the patient and making sure that if they can't afford something due to their insurance or other financial limitations, they work with them and they set up a plan based on your income, meaning that you can get low-cost healthcare or free of charge healthcare. And lastly, they provide services that many other doctors do not do at usual health clinics, including abortions and hormone therapy. It's very important to get STD testing for not only your health, but for the health of your partner. If you have an STD and you're unaware and then you spread it to one partner, then that partner could spread it to their sexual partner, and next thing you know, there's an epidemic of STDs. And for example, if you are sexually active and you do get tested positive, you can stop them from spreading it, and you could also get treatment. And the tests range from chlamydia, syphilis, herpes, HIV, AIDS, lots. And some people may not have the ability to go to a hospital. This is for their cancer screenings. Some people don't have the ability to go to a hospital and get the help that they need. So if you can't, then Planned Parenthood will work with you, and they'll make sure that you get the testing that you need. If, for example, you know that you have a tendency in your genetic to have reproductive cancer, then they'll do the testing that you need. You can get the help that you need. They do pap smears, HPV tests, pelvic exams, clinical breast exams, mammograms, and the program works with them and furthers them. They also give very accurate pregnancy tests, which is something that many people take for granted. If you go to a convenience store and you get a $5 pregnancy test, then chances are that it's not completely accurate, and it could be not pregnant and you could be pregnant, and then you could perform an activities that could be potentially harmful to the child and lead in their death, or even worse, like disabilities, and it could really make their life difficult. So Planned Parenthood can give tests that give more information regarding the states a pregnant woman's fetus is in, including if the woman possibly has problems with her pelvic area, and if carrying the baby will make the mom or the child suffer medically, then they'll know in the future, know in advance due to the testing. And it's important for a mother's health to have access. It's not only important for a mother's health that they have access to services, but it's also important for the child's health, because you could figure out right away if the baby has Down syndrome, and then you can set up treatment and you can set up help for when it's time and the baby does come. And if a woman are forced to carry out a pregnancy and give birth to a child that they cannot properly care for, then there's a chance that the child could end up in an adoption center. And while some people may say that the adoption centers are a better option than an abortion, well, there's some alarming foster care statistics that show about 30% of children in foster care have severe emotional, behavior, or developmental problems, and physical health problems are also very common. This is from the child blaming themselves for wanting to be put up for adoption, and they don't blame the parents, and the child can grow up with severe psychological problems. And according to the Casey Family Program, the nation's largest operating foundation in foster care issues, it's estimated that 30 to 50% of youth exit the foster care system without a high school diploma or high school equivalent. So I think that's very alarming, because it's important to have an education to have a successful life. And another estimate showed that approximately 20% of foster youth who do graduate from college or do graduate from high school actually do attend college and further their education, compared to the usual 60% for a non-foster child, high school graduate. So is the abortions that they offer, that's not the only thing. The abortions aren't just because it's an unwanted child. The mother could not be able to financially provide for the child. The mother it could be a very terrible situation, and they could get kicked out and have nowhere to go and end up homeless. And there's really no knowing why this woman needs an abortion. That's very important that Planned Parenthood knows how to respect your privacy. They don't ask too many questions. They just ask what's necessary. And that's very important to a woman, because if they go into another health establishment and they feel as if they're being frowned upon or like they're being mistreated, then they might not follow through with the abortion, and then their child will have to go through foster care, which is millions of tax dollars and a lot of mental strain on the child. So, and also, if you just can't afford an abortion, or you can't go because you're a child and you're pregnant, and then your parents will find out and you can get in a lot of trouble, then the patient is a minor, and then the Planned Parenthood will work with them, and then you can get on this thing called a family plan, where there's no insurance needed, there's no payments, they just do what they can. They provide condoms, they provide testing, they provide birth control. And because Planned Parenthood offers all these tests and all these resources, they can help. They make a really big difference in the community from all standards of health, including mental and physical. And it's important to keep the organization running, and I believe that while there's a lot of negative talk surrounding Planned Parenthood, there's a lot of benefits that they do, and I genuinely think that in society now, moral standards versus ethical standards, like what just should be done, I think they need to be completely separate, and I think that people need to think of the health and safety of others before they think of their own religious beliefs or personal standards regarding it. Thank you.